Hello everyone, welcome to the first long-form Razorbill video. Instantly starting with a special episode of Razorbill Phoenix, which is all things Artemis. We have some things to cover, from the cadence of SLS speeding up to a restructuring of Artemis 3. Now, without any delay, let's get into it. Okay, to start off, let's start with the easiest to explain, the updated cadence for the SLS rocket. As seen before, SLS has always been a slow-to-produce rocket, with there being a 4-year difference between the completion of the first SLS stack and the completion of the second one, which is slated to launch in April of this year as of the writing of this script. In February 27th, 2026, a stream regarding Artemis updates was hosted, with NASA admin Jared Isaacman stating that he wants SLS launch cadence and production to get faster, up to one flight per less than a year, or as he said, potentially once per 10 months, which is faster than the one flight per 3 years of before.
We want to accelerate manufacturing, pull in the hardware, and increase launch rate, which obviously has a direct safety, consideration to it as well. You get into a good rhythm, launching great frequency, you get that muscle memory. In order to do that, we need to rebuild and strengthen the workforce here at NASA. Now, this is directly in line with a workforce directive that I released several weeks ago. We have to rebuild core competencies. The ability to turn around our launch pads and launch with frequency greater than every 3 years is imperative. Now, some people ask me questions on that already as we've talked about this, and it's like, how are we going to do that? How we can go from 3 years to something significantly less, to what I think should actually be inside of 1 year?
This can be accomplished by speeding up SLS production, which can be done by making multiple SLSs at once, about 2 SLSs under construction in the vehicle assembly building, preferably. Next up, it appears that the Exploration Upper Stage, or EUS, has been scrapped? Yep, you heard that right. The replacement for the SLS Upper Stage that was supposed to debut on the Block 1B version of SLS is dead. This means bad news for both the SLS Block 1B and Block 2, which were supposed to be more powerful than the current Block 1 SLS we have. Or at least it's bad news for the two as they were initially planned. It has been confirmed that there is going to be an upgraded, standardized version of the SLS rocket, which might as well be the replacement for those two.
Today, we're announcing a standardization of the SLS fleet to what we'll call essentially a near Block 1 configuration. So the idea is we want to reduce complexity to the greatest extent possible.
Also, judging by this visual representation of the Artemis reconstructions, the new SLS is going to have a Centaur 5 upper stage, rather than a modified Delta 4 upper stage that was the ICPS. Although certainly not as strong as the EUS we wanted, it's still stronger than the ICPS. It's better than nothing. However, the elephant in the room that must be addressed is that this does also mean bad news for the Gateway Station, which needed SLS Block 1B and Block 2. However, this could probably be fixed by using the Falcon Heavy rocket, or, if it's a thing at the time, the New Glenn 9X4 variant. In fact, the first 2 modules of the Gateway were planned on being launched on a Falcon Heavy. Okay, now let's get to the restructuring of Artemis 3 I initially spoke about. So, Jared confirmed something about Artemis 3 that completely rebuilds the mission from the ground up. Just have a listen.
And then we are going to add missions. In fact, we're essentially going to pull in Artemis 3 to launch in 2027 with a revised mission profile. So instead of going directly to a lunar landing, we will endeavor to rendezvous in low Earth orbit with one or both of our lunar landers, test out integrated operations between Orion and the landers, ECLSS systems, even to the extent possible, if we can get up development components of our XEVA suits to test out vehicle interfaces, even just getting an astronaut in a suit in microgravity, we can learn a lot with the idea that we should be learning. And take this information back to inform hardware development, whether it's in the landers or in the suits before Artemis 4, where we will attempt to land on the moon. We are also, as a component of the strategy, endeavoring to preserve up to 2 landing attempts in 2028. So if we get it inside of the 10-month turnaround time that we would like to see, Artemis 2 will launch on its historic mission in the weeks ahead. Artemis 3 will have its opportunity, if we can, by mid-2027, which sets us up for an early 28 and a late 28 opportunity.
Yep, that's right. Artemis 3 will be a low Earth orbit, or LEO mission, not a moon landing. Also, considering he did say one or both lunar landers, and according to the same visual from before, we can come to the conclusion that both Starship HLS and Blue Moon Mark II could be tested, and also landed at the same time as each other. Now how I think this would work out is Blue Moon being the one carrying crew, while HLS is the one that brings down cargo. Considering Starship is a beast when it comes to cargo, and Blue Moon is likely the one that's safer for crew, this would make sense. Also, there will be changes in dates. Artemis 3 will now be in next year, 2027, while Artemis 4, the new moon landing mission, is in 2028. Another thing to add is Jared said that there will likely be 2 moon landings in 2028. That's interesting. 2 Artemis missions in 1 year. And that just about does it for this video. This is both the first true long-form video in the channel, other than the one video when this was just an alt channel for my main channel, Salty Gull, and the first installment of the Phoenix series. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a video in the future. With all that being said, this is Razorbill, signing off.